All right, ready to go? 1, 2, 3, here we go. Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Library Board meeting. It's 4 p.m. on Thursday, February 13th, 2025. We're in the City Hall Council chambers and we've got a quorum, and so we'll go ahead. First thing we have to do is approve the agenda. We've had the agenda by email for quite some time. So,
I'll make the motion.
all right, we've got, Manon makes a motion to approve the agenda. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, we have an agenda, and now we need to approve the minutes from our January meeting. Again, we have those in our packets, so any corrections or additions or any comments? Otherwise, I'll take a motion to approve those.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We've got minutes. And now let's talk about the first month's financial report. April?
We are 8.49% through 2025, and our budget is approximately 6.02% expended. Some of the bills that we paid during January included $2,048 to Minnesota Elevator for our annual service charges. They come quarterly to inspect those elevators for us. $789 to Amazon to replace the air conditioning unit in the server room. It was not running anymore, and we need that to keep that equipment a safe temperature. $1,363 to Ingram for books and CD audiobooks. $46 to Plunkett's for our quarterly pest control, and $338 to Verizon for service to our 8 hotspots that we check out. Our annual subscription to the Star Tribune was paid in December, and that was $753, but it was prorated to 2025 due to it basically serving the 2025 year. And then just a note that the AV rental revenue line has been removed from the budget reports because the library no longer charges those rental fees for our AV equipment.
Okay. Anybody have any questions or comments about the financial report? We're off to a good start. So, all right, we'll just move on to what happened in January.
We have a new library aide, Danielle Albrecht, started yesterday. And we have one more library aide starting March 3rd. We had a little bit of a rocky hiring process. We had 2 library aides who actually started and then worked a couple days with us and decided that they couldn't make the job work for them. So they resigned, and we just went back to the pool of candidates we had pulled from before. So, but we're excited to have Danielle joining us, and then we will have another library aide starting March 3rd.
Okay.
The new doors on the book drop entrance were installed yesterday. You have some of that finishing work on your agenda for an action item today. And then I do need to have a locksmith come to install and rekey the book drop door to match the hallway door.
Okay.
So those keys are all the same. And then I don't have the invoice for that yet, but we did have to have some work on the HVAC units above the main part of the library. We were having issues with them going out, and so they put some hoods on them, and so that should help that going forward. But I am hoping that I'll have that invoice to report.
Is that the wind, I suppose?
Yeah, and just up there, open to the elements on the roof. And then last month I had asked if anyone from this board was interested in serving on the Traverse des Sioux Regional Library Board for Brown County. And I sent another call to our other Brown County libraries, and Jane Evers from Hanska has agreed to serve on that board.
Good.
So,
Great.
Good.
so that's great to have the voice of a smaller library on it this time. So thanks to Jane, and thanks to Sharon Lang, the director at the Comfrey Library.
Good.
Oh, excuse me, she's from Comfrey. Thanks to Sharon Lang at the Comfrey Library for recruiting her. And then I just wanted to note that the Memory Lab has been really busy lately with ongoing and new projects. Leroy has had a lot of new appointments, plus continued use from people who are in the middle of projects. So We meet with patrons who are new to the Memory Lab, get them trained on how to use the equipment that they're using for their project, and then they can usually come in and use it independently to continue their project until it's done. So it's just been busy for him with those orientation appointments and then just any additional assistance that they request. And then he's also been working on our mobile memory lab equipment purchases, which is part of our planned expenditures for that Mellon Foundation funding.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Otherwise, we'll move on to what's happening in February programming.
Tomorrow, February 14th at 10 a.m., we have Clifford's special story time. It's Clifford the Big Red Dog's 62nd birthday this year, and so we're partnering with Luca Books to host a special visit from Clifford himself during story time. And they are also visiting the schools and I believe Numa's house as well with Clifford for a visit. And then the Friends of the Library are sponsoring books to give away during those programs to children.
Good.
Just a note that will be closed on Monday, February 17th for President's Day, reopen for normal hours on Tuesday the 18th. And then the NARN will be at the library on Saturday, February 22nd at 11 a.m. They'll visit without their masks and lead a story time and craft. And so that's a nice way to introduce children where it's a little less intimidating.
I know, they're scary.
Sure. I know adults.
They scare me, so. Oh, I get over it quickly.
And that's an annual tradition, and they usually talk a little bit about crafting their masks and kind of the stories of their different characters. too.
Right. And the kids get to touch the mask.
I think so.
That is the best. Anybody want to make a comment or a question? Otherwise, we've got several resolutions. We had a big agenda here. So the first, let's open up the first resolution. This is resolution number 2025-03, approving disposal of surplus item. During January 2025, the library replaced the Trip Light SR Cool 12K air conditioner that cools the server room. The old air conditioner was no longer able to keep the room at a safe temperature for technology and was replaced with the same model. The old air conditioner has no residual value to the library, and the library director recommends that it be declared surplus and disposed of. So, anybody care about an old air conditioner? Otherwise, I'll take a motion to adopt the resolution 3.
Our maintenance technician did open it and clean it out to see if he could get it working again, and it
It didn't work. No, too bad. Well,
I'll make the motion for resolution 03.
Good. Second?
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, the secretary call the roll.
Dustin, yes. Caitlin,
Yes.
Ruth Ann,
Yes.
Yvonne,
Yes.
Manon,
Yes,
Lynn,
Yes.
Hope,
Yes.
Nancy.
Yes.
Right, we have a resolution 3. Okay, come on. Now, we have to open up, working on resolution. I'm struggling to get my resolution open here. Can you help me?
Here it is.
Okay, I'll read it. Oops. Resolution 2025-04, accepting Arts and Culture Heritage Fund grant. In its January 2025 meeting, the Traverse des Sioux Regional Library Board awarded New Ulm Public Library with an Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund legacy grant in the amount of $2,500 for performances by the Nintendoons video game jazz orchestra at 4 Brown County locations, Friday, May 2nd at 7 p.m. at the Dykeman Free Library in Sleepy Eye, Saturday, May 3rd at 1 p.m. at the New Ulm Public Library, Saturday, May 3rd at 7 p.m. at the Comfrey Free Library, and Saturday, May 10th at 3 p.m. at the Hanska Public Library. Nine Nenton Tunes perform jazz-arranged video game music spanning the past 40 years of gaming. The six-piece ensemble is from southern Minnesota. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. That sounds like a lot of fun.
They've performed for us in the past, and they run a great
Great.
program.
And I think
Great.
it's supposed to, Nintendones, like Nintendo.
Thank you, dear. Thank you.
have a hot ticket in orchestras across the world right now.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
No,
Yeah,
this
that
is
would
not
be
working
crazy
here.
with the music in that.
All right. Do I have a motion to accept that resolution?
So moved.
And we do a second?
I'll second.
Anyone have a discussion? Otherwise, Secretary, call the roll, please.
Dustin, yes. Caitlin,
Yes.
Ruth Ann,
Yes.
Yvonne,
Yes.
Manon,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Hope,
Yes.
Nancy.
Yes.
All right. All right.
Is it working for you?
No, it's just not working.
Want to trade spots?
Oh, sure. Sure. I'm in.
Let's get upset.
Oh,
Okay.
I don't know. What have I done wrong? Nothing. It's not me. It's not me. All right. There we go. Here we go. We've done this before. This is Resolution 2025-05 to approve the 2024 Minnesota Public Library Annual Report for the New Ulm Public Library. By state law, the submission of the 2024 Minnesota Public Library Annual Report for New Ulm Public Library is a submission of the library board and must be approved by the board. Attached is a copy of the report from the New Ulm Public Library as prepared by Library Director April Eide. Anyone, like I said, we do this every year. We
I
do
do
this
have
every.
some quick highlights I can
Oh,
share
good,
if you'd
please
like.
do that.
Okay. I just want to note that the report looks like it's repeating twice, and that's because there is a system level and a location level report. So that would be libraries like the Martin County Library that have multiple branches. They report for their system and for each branch. But since we don't have additional branches, both sections of that report are the same information for us. But I just wanted to note that that's why it looks like that. I discussed some year-end stats on items at the end of last year, so I'm not going to highlight those again. I just wanted to talk about some other things contained in the report. So on page 4, it has a section about interlibrary loan, which is we were able to share within our regional library, Traverse des Sioux, with the other member libraries, but interlibrary loan are items that we're receiving from outside of that system, from the greater Minnesota. So we provided ILL, interlibrary loan or ILL, to other libraries, and we received from other libraries, but those numbers were down this year. This is most likely due to the downtime that we experienced in 2024 when Minitex, our interlibrary loan provider, migrated to a new software system. So they stopped moving items while they did that migration to make sure it was as clean as possible. So that is likely why those numbers are down this year. On page 5 and 6 of the report, it talks about our programming. So we offered 606 programs, and this is for all, includes all ages, and that also includes our live virtual programs. And those 606 programs had 6,612 attendees. One reason for the increase in that this year is that I re-examined the state's definition of our programs versus self-directed activities. So for us, self-directed activities are things like our adult winter reading program, where there's not an event led by a librarian, but it's an activity that our patrons can participate self-directed. So in the past, we had categorized our art group, chess club, needleworking group as self-directed activities, but they're not. They're really programs because they're gatherings where people are engaging. So That's part of the reason for that change. And then our 2023 views of recorded program content was high because we ended up on some YouTube playlists in Asia. Some of you might remember that. And they were really drawing eyes to our YouTube videos and suggesting them widely. And now our views have dropped down closer to previous year's levels for those for 2024. And then I'm sorry, was there a question?
No, go ahead.
On page 7, our total physical materials, we usually hover somewhere between 68 to 72,000 items, and that kind of depends on which weeding projects we're working on or which collections we've been trying to build out. So right now it's a little bit higher on that end, but we are working on the weeding project of our nonfiction collections, so that we can use those grant monies to update those as well.
Okay. Good.
And I'd be happy to answer questions on any other information that you're curious about.
Anybody have any questions? I figured out what I did wrong. You have to close the old one before you can open the new one. Oh, well, doesn't matter. It'll
In
work
terms
out.
of participation, there were some things that were, and these may be addressed in what you just said, but it seems like there's more, overall, the numbers are higher this year in a number of categories over last year's numbers.
Yes, and I
More
think we're
participation.
continuing to build back our numbers after the pandemic. It's been slow but steady year over year
Yeah.
for us.
Do you know what the state does with this information, or do they ever come back to you with questions or feedback from the report?
Each year there's kind of one person at the state who heads this, and so when she sends out information in February about being able to start the report, she often has sessions you can attend about data points that they're collecting differently, or and offers an opportunity to ask questions. And they compile this information and they send it to a national level. And so it's used for advocating for libraries, justifying spending for libraries. So there are, federal programs like the E-rate program that they use to support connectivity in schools and libraries. And so some of this data helps boost those programs and justify the need for them.
Thank you for that question. Other questions or comments? Otherwise, I'll take a motion to accept Resolution 2025-03, or 05, excuse me.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all would the secretary please call the roll?
Dustin, yes. Caitlin,
Yes.
Ruth Ann,
Yes.
Yvonne,
Yes.
Manon,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Hope,
Yes.
Nancy.
Yes.
All right, resolution passed. Okay, now, in my mind, this is our most important resolution. This has been a long time coming here. It's resolution number 2025-06, approving the purchase of study room pods. In March 2024, the New Ulm Public Library was selected to receive a grant of $250,000 from the Mellon Foundation to be used for upgrading and enhancing the library's memory lab, local history projects, and enhancement to library services and space. Enhancements to library services and space included installation of 2 study pods and 1 memory lab pod. The total budgeted from grant funds for this project is $135,000 for study pods and $26,200 for study pod furniture. The library director contacted several vendors whose proposals and product brochures are attached. The library director has also attached a summary of the proposals as well as a photo showing the planned location of the pods. The total cost of each proposal is as follows. Juniper, $70,153.88. Poppin' Pods, $61,181.30. Think Tanks, $88,993.35. And Your Space, $60,976.01. The library director recommends approving the proposal from Your Space because these products maximize the available space, are handicap accessible, and offer a configuration that will meet the library's needs. Okay. Now, since we have these pictures, but people listening may not have these pictures, I'd like you to please explain where these pods are going to be going in the library.
So the location we've chosen is on the main floor near the service desk, kind of in the public computer area. The wall we're looking at is the wall where the DVDs currently are. So those will move. We have a couple spots in mind up on the nonfiction floor for those DVDs. We'll also probably lose the counter where the new magazines are displayed, but there's options for that too.
Okay.
Do you want me to talk a little bit about the option that I'm recommending? and
Yes, I
why?
do.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
So the Your Space pods came out on top for us for a few reasons. One, the price is good, but those pods are more customized to that specific location that we're looking at. The other three vendors that I've quoted here are like pods that just they're one size and shape. And so you get what you get, the dimensions that you get. So we were looking at things like, I think it was with Juniper, one of the pods was really deep, and then the smaller pods were not deep. So we'd be looking at, pods sticking out from one another, not fully maximizing that space. Whereas the Your Space ones, they'll all be flush with each other in the front and the back to maximize the full space that we've designated for them. The other thing about the Your Space pods is that they sit on our floor, and the other ones all have their own floors. And so that had some concerns for us whether or not they'd be accessible for a wheelchair.
Oh, good point.
We would lose a little bit of the sound dampening with them sitting on our floor, but to me, the other pluses of that were, brought it up for me. And then the other thing is the configuration of the Your Space pods, I think, will work with the furniture we'd like to put in them. Some of the other options had kind of oblong pods where it'd be hard to would be hard to put a table where people could sit around it, or configure the memory lab equipment that we have in a way that would make sense and not be tight, and also be able to get someone who is using a wheelchair in those spaces. All of the pods that I quoted are plug and play, so they have ventilation systems and lighting systems in them. There was one vendor I talked to who required you had to wire the electricity, and we just decided not to go that route.
I know people have questions, or comments about these.
I was just going to say, I looked at all of the pods that you had looked at too, and I agree with your assessment on choosing this particular style of pod. I think it will, like you're saying, the accessibility is better with it being on the floor, and then just the design of them, I think, will blend in more with the design of our library. Some of the other pods were very futuristic, almost like you were gonna go into them and like take off in a spaceship, which, like, if that makes people want to study, I don't cool, but yeah.
Versatile too, the one you chose.
So, well, the installation, is that long-term I mean, is it going to take them months or weeks to put it in, or?
They estimated like 2 to 3 days.
Okay.
So just depending. I did have Your Space quote on, they quoted on these. These are standalone pods, although the walls will be flush with each other. But they also quoted me on conjoined pods where the walls are shared. But then we would lose the ability to disassemble them and move them later.
Yeah.
So we do have the option with these, although we'd, either have to hire someone or figure out how to do it, but we could move these at a later time if we decided they needed to go somewhere else in the library.
So the plan, they come in sixes and twos. What's the plan? How many we're going to get two, right? Or one for the memory lab and two for downstairs, right?
Yep, so they'll actually all three be in that spot.
Oh, they will be.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep,
All
so
right.
they'll just be right in a row there. We'll have one for the memory lab, a smaller room for, 2-3 people,
Mm-hmm.
and then another larger one. So the memory lab and the larger study room will be the same size.
Okay. All right.
So I'm assuming the furniture is a separate order?
Yes. Some of the pods the vendors did include some furniture in them, and the configurations of the furniture I didn't think were very flexible. And with the Your Space, we just start from scratch with the furniture we want in them. So if some of the furniture we have works, we can use that, or we also have grant funds to purchase
Yes,
furniture.
okay. Just curious.
Did you have the opportunity to look at reviews of the Your Space options?
Yeah, I looked at reviews and some of the things on their website, and they were generally positive for all of the companies. I didn't really see a lot of negativity there. So.
Did you want to talk about how you expect patrons to use these?
Yes, so we get a lot of requests for private spaces. Since the pandemic, it's been people who are meeting online for different interviews and stuff. For we've even had people who are having legal meetings and they need a private space to do that, and we just don't offer that in the main library. And our meeting room gets frequent use, so it's not always available, and it's not really a private space because New Cat's working down there. Our maintenance technician moves in and out of there. So these would allow us to offer that to our patrons. So we envision small study groups using that, people using them for the meetings and things I described. We have tutoring that happens at the library. They'd be a good spot for that too.
There'll be a reservation system then for people
Yes.
to use
So
them?
the next piece of work, once we pick a vendor, is to have a study room policy to govern that use. And I imagine we'll be able to carry over some of the policy from the meeting room, but we'll have, specifics as to how they can be reserved and whether, we're offering first come, first serve when reservations aren't scheduled, those kind of things.
And that's although they're quiet and enclosed, and you can't hear people in there, you can see in. The librarians can see in. It's
Yes, the doors on the Your Space ones, I believe that the full door is glass. And then we are choosing a half glass. The upper will be glass of the side of the pod that faces the service desk, so we'll be able to see into them.
okay.
And we chose pods that don't lock as well.
Okay.
Except for the memory lab one, we asked for a lock on that.
Oh, because of the equipment.
equipment.
All right.
But the study rooms won't.
Okay. Okay. Good idea. Well, I'm really excited about this. I have wanted a study pod for the longest time. And now what am I going to do there? I need a meeting. I'm going to schedule a meeting soon. All right.
Sure. We can all go.
Is the design in what's included in the packet here, is that your finalized design?
That's what we would like to go with.
Okay, with
yeah.
the finishes and, okay.
Yeah, I think the framing is like a brushed silver, and then the panels are like a light oak color to match as closely as we could get to match the shelving in that area of the library.
Details.
Yeah.
Details.
And then I think the interior is kind of a gray felt.
Good.
Could you talk a little bit about the difference from the budgeted amount to what the proposal amount is, and just maybe some future flexibility, what that means?
So I had when we had built the request to the Mellon Foundation for the grant, we had looked at, I think I looked at Pop and Pods and a couple other pods. I wasn't aware of Your Space at that point. So I'd gotten some rough quotes from their websites on the bigger spaces. And so we estimated based on just bigger spaces at that point. And so when we asked for the $135,000, that's where that amount was coming from. Now with that Mellon Foundation grant funding, if we need to make major changes in the budget, we do have to go to them with that request. So I don't think underspending at this point is going to be a problem, but if we would like to find a way to use that money, we'll have to have that approved by them.
Makes sense.
Otherwise, that
Okay.
money would have to be returned. And I do have a couple ideas that I don't think are ready to share publicly because I don't want to promise anything that's not going to happen. But
Yeah.
we are already looking at what potential we have that would still meet the guidelines of that grant, the uses they want that
Great.
funding to go to.
When do you have to use the funding by? Do you have stipulations on
So
that?
it's a 5-year grant.
Okay, nice.
So we got that in March of 2024, and so we have until March of 2029.
Okay, okay.
You
can spend that.
Spend, spend, spend. Anyone else have any comments or questions or concerns?
I like the clear, like I think the clear windows are very important, especially for those that may be working with children for just like safety reasons and transparency. The clear windows, I think, help make everybody feel safer.
Would we were originally just talking about study rooms as a dream. We had always thought they might be on the nonfiction floor. But Megan, when we were going through, she made a really good point about we want them where we can easily
Yeah.
monitor them. And
Yeah.
so that's
Very
why
much so.
we chose the location at the service desk like that.
That's very, yeah.
Yes. Well, there's a lot to think about, and we've been thinking about this for quite some time, so I'm really happy.
Yeah.
I will take a motion. I assume that we can accept the library director's recommendation. I'll take a motion.
I'll move.
A second?
Second.
Any other further discussion? Like I said, this is probably the most important thing we're doing today, so if anybody has any.
You've done such a great job of looking this stuff over. Just
I just wanted to note that Your Space's lead time, they said, is about 8 to 10 weeks. Depending on where that ends up, when we hear from them, we would be installing maybe April, May, or if we can't get it done by May, we would want to wait until after the summer reading program is over. So that would probably be September then at that point. So it'll kind of just depend on what their timeline is too.
Okay, I
And then-
do have one more question.
Oh,
now.
no, that's fine. Good, please.
So after installation, if there's something about the pods, the design of the pods that you don't feel like is working well in the library, do they offer ways to like move pieces? Or, kind of like a puzzle where you can say, let's make this wall different in some sort of way, or
I think it would come with an additional fee, but I
Yeah.
don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility, because these are slightly custom because of the choices that we're and the measurements we're choosing.
sure.
But if we wanted to order a wall with a full window or something, I think
Yeah.
that would
Yeah.
be a
That's
possibility
more what I was
because
thinking.
the way they described it is that these pieces all slot together. They
Yeah.
fit
Yeah, kind of like
together.
cubicle walls.
Yeah, there's
assembly required.
Yeah, it's not like they're, putting insulation in them or anything like that.
Yeah.
They're, maybe screwing pieces that are meant to kind of click together.
Okay.
Well, it's going to be fun to see them.
Yes.
Really fun, really fun. Anybody else? Like I said, this is an important item. Please don't hesitate. So. All right. Dustin, call the roll.
Dustin, yes. Caitlin,
Yes.
Ruth Ann,
Yes.
Yvonne,
Yes.
Manon,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Hope,
Yes.
Nancy.
Yes.
Yay.
On to resolution, yay, hooray. Very happy, very happy. Resolution 2025-07, approving use of fund balance for door automation. In December of 2024, New Ulm City Council approved replacing the library's southwest entrance using the city's 290 fund. The library director and city IT director recommended adding electric strikes to both west library entrances when the doors are replaced, which was included in the vendor's quote. What is an electric strike?
Yeah, I wondered that.
It's where the door kind of latches, they have to put a special strike in that can work with the computer, the system that will signal to it to latch and unlatch.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
So, I don't know if you've noticed, like the doors here at City Hall have readers outside of them, and so they're on a schedule to lock at a certain time. of the day.
Okay.
And then city employees have badge access to get in those doors when the building is closed.
Okay.
And so that's what we're looking to end up with at the library.
Oh,
Right. Thank you. Thank you. Anyway, in the quote, this will make it easier for the library to manage and monitor access to the building and make library access more consistent with other city buildings, which makes sense after what you've said. Additional work is needed by an electrician, an alarm monitoring company, to connect the strikes and set up the automated system. The city finance director recommended that this portion of the work come from the library's budget or fund balance. The library director recommends using the fund balance because this is an unbudgeted project. The city's IT director recommends using the following vendors for the project due to their familiarity with the library wiring and city alarm systems, respectively. All right, there's two of them. Full Service Electric. These are bids, right?
no.
Oh, no.
They're quotes.
They're quotes.
But so we would need to complete both.
Right,
pieces of
right.
it, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I get it. And so the proposal is to have Full Service Electric install the data cabling and jack, cable junctions, and then additional cable for $1,681, and then the additional cable is $204. And then another vendor, Precision Alarm, would install the door controllers, card readers, switches for $5,488.60 for a total of $7,373.60. And we do have that in our fund balance.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
It kind of coincides with the security camera project. The city manager is encouraging departments to make sure that the buildings are secure. And one thing that these card readers offer is that if I swipe my card at 8:04 a.m., there's a log of that in the system. So if we have a concern, we can go back and look
Who
at
was
that.
there?
Who was there?
Yeah. Do all of the library employees have the cards? Or will that be?
We all have ID badges. We don't currently use them for a lot because we
Yeah.
are just at the library and we don't have this system right now. So like we use them when we come over here and have to get into the mail room and things. But this would take place of the keys that library staff have for the building.
Oh, yeah, and that's always good.
Okay.
Will all staff have them?
Yes. And what we can also do is we can kind of set rules. So like library aides can access the building 15 minutes before their shift starts, kind of things. Or 15-minute, like we usually start at 8:30, so they could access the building at 8:15. And maybe only Megan and I have access to the building all the time.
I have a question. So these are electronic entry. Do they also have like an actual keyed backup? Okay.
Yes, so we would retain keys for like myself and Megan and our maintenance technician just in case.
Okay.
Excellent.
Good work. Good work.
Busy this last month.
Well, and we all remember the unfortunate events when somebody went into the PUC, oh gosh, well, put that out of our mind. But yes, I can understand why the city manager is urging all the everybody to be real careful about security, so.
Absolutely.
All right, I will take a motion to approve the use of fund balance for the door automation.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Manon. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion, any other questions? All right, Dustin, call the roll.
Dustin, yes. Caitlin?
Yes.
Ruth Ann?
Yes.
Yvonne?
Yes.
Manon?
Yes.
Lynn?
Yes.
Hope?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Okay, good. Is there any other business to come before this board?
I don't have any.
Okay, anybody else? Anybody else? I think I figured out how to use my own computer.
All
Well,
right.
so maybe next time I'll figure it out, but anyway. All right. No further, oh, give me that gavel. All right. No further business? Meeting adjourned. Good, yay.